Woohoo. How are you? Oh, Sophie's saying hi. Carmela, she's just sleeping. And Thomas is drying himself off after another run-in with the dog. I forgot to put in my headphones. So let's see if this makes a difference in the sound. Okay, how does that sound? Does that sound any better than before? I was going to be working on my cloak. I started it a couple of years ago, and I still have a long way to go. And it's all pieces that I've been crocheting together. And I have a whole bunch of pieces to go into it to finish it. And some of the yarns, using different yarns, different textures, I have some alteration in how I'm doing it, because I do want to make it flow in the back so that when you sit down, that it would make it easier. And still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do the front or anything. It's just putting pieces together. And isn't that how we build our lives? Let's see, who do we have? Drip. Hey. Way better, a lot clearer. Well, thank you. I'm glad you can hear it. So, can you relate in puzzle pieces in building a life? Being a puzzle piece in the tapestry of life? And it's like, what color would you be? Would you blend in, or would you stand out? And if you stand out, are you comfortable standing out? Are you comfortable knowing things that other people don't know and have a hard time comprehending? That's one of the challenges with being an intuitive, is having ideas and premonitions and trying to stop what you foresee as a bad event from happening, and you can't. So it's, even when you know the future, it doesn't mean that you can change it. It's that forewarned is forearmed. And, is it better if you are warned of upcoming events? It's like with the Holy Bible, and it talks about Revelation. And it talks about the end times and the signs to look for. Well, when you're understanding predictions of premonitions are dependent upon the information at the time of the interpretation, yeah, one, it does sound like we have a chance to change the outcome, possibly. Or is it just people's attitudes in dealing with changes that would need to be made in society? I've always known things that others don't comprehend since I was very little, maybe before that. Probably before that, and it was probably acknowledged when someone told you, no, that can't be true, because they don't have the same abilities. So yeah, it's definitely challenging when we have premonitions. And, we, depending on the premonitions that we receive, some of them are like really spot on. But how many of us who, as children, have this gift and people think you're crazy, and then you might tend to believe them. I know someone who I'm sure, freaked people out because of her highly intuitive, empathic nature. And they labeled her, with a whole lot of mental this and that, which really I think it was the drugs that they gave her for, her gift. I know, I'm trying to think of what grade it was. I think it was in second grade, something like that. And we couldn't go, it was me and another boy, and we couldn't go to go and see the movies. And it was like, oh, I'll just, watch the movies out the side of my glasses. And he was like, oh no, you can't do that. And it was like a bubble popping. And I'm like, no, I did. And luckily, I can still, even though I denied and put it aside for quite a long time. I still pay attention to those dark shadows. I still pay attention to signs and symbols and colors and all that other kind of good stuff, because it's it's a piece of a puzzle. It's a tapestry. And are you a thread in that tapestry to weave it all together, or are you a piece of the puzzle? Are you willing to step forward? And yes, I'm looking at Carmela. Stay there, Carmeli. Yeah, let me see. I've always things people like me encouraged in my culture. Oh, well, you were lucky, Drip. You were really lucky, because most people aren't. Okay, girls, I'm going to a minute. Watch out. Watch out, Carmela. Thank you. Thank you. I will wait for more dog hair when it's finished. But don't want them to smell, or my cloak to smell like a dog before it's finished. So, yeah, I don't like to go in front of camera. And I know that people have liked watching my animals. And that's Sophie. That right there is Rhodey. Sophie likes to, she's who I call jealouser. Right? Yeah, I'm staying with a friend of mine on the road, and I had tried to get on my computer, and it's so strange, the challenges of getting information out there. And Drip, I don't know if you're having the same type of getting information out that people need to or should be aware of. And there again, what is our role in trying to warn people of what's coming? You know, what is your culture and your beliefs? My old people call us old souls. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, what culture is it? Because well, when you're saying my old people, I could go back to my great grandparents, and back then I would say they were a little bit more aware of being an old soul than in the generation that I grew up. I'm a child of the 60s. And my great-grandmother was a child, well, before the turn of the century, the 19th century. And, yeah, sorry about my animals deciding they're going to take a bath while we're on. Hey, Carmela, you're the only one who's not taking a bath. Yeah? Are you done? You done taking a bath, Sophie? Yeah? And of course, Rhodey. You see her nose peeping out there. My old people, Easter Island, etc. So are you Pacific Islander? Is that what I'm getting from you? Would you be one of the islands, people of the sea? Yeah, I'm a Pisces. I'm a numerology 11, mystic, birth date 3/3. So yeah, it's cool when you have people who honor the old souls instead of trying to destroy them because they don't believe. So then you would know the daughters of Pele. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There was a group of people who had gathered, and it was for a fire walk with the Daughters of Pelé. And it was doing 2 other challenges prior to the fire walk. But when I went there, it was like, what? Fire walk? Yeah, that was, let me think, 2000, I think it was 10. Or no. 8. Yeah, 2008. And I most definitely opened up my throat chakra by doing that. You had to put an arrow, fold up a dollar bill, and then put the arrow on your throat, and the other backside of the arrow against a tree, and walk forward. And it took more time to convince yourself to just do it. You know, the thought of doing it over and over, oh, well, what'll happen if I just do it? Instead of just doing it. And then it was with a 1/4-inch rebar. And you had to put, again, a dollar bill folded up. I guess that was our insurance policy, or, so it didn't leave a mark greater than. And then 2 of you had to walk together. So it was not only, yourself walking, but you had to walk together, because if you didn't walk together, then the possibility of knocking the other one over was great. And then you got to walk on fire. And they were from Hawaii. I just knew them as the Daughters of Pelé. And I know that they don't do it anymore, because I know that the one had passed on. So I don't know, I'm sure that there's other ones who do fire walks out there, but that was a very spiritual awakening, like I said, for my throat chakra. I started to speak up for myself after that experience. And even though, people might not agree, it's we have to be ourselves. And in your spiritual beliefs, what are you taught at the end of the cycle that we're in? Because I'm sure that no matter, you're still feeling the cycle that we're in ending. So what you got going, Drip? Might be in, and I will let that go as a question. So whenever or whomever someone comes up and wants to question, because we're talking people of the sea. And right now we have Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune, what is that? God of the sea? King of the sea? In Neptune? In Pisces? Oh dear. There's probably going to be more water-related events that are going to be playing out in the future. Whether it is indeed from hurricanes or poison in the water or floods, whichever you choose to see, Believe in reincarnation, cycles, and flows of life. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Being an old soul, I guess we would be. Hence my name, Drip. That's a good one. I like that. My name, GLoLady. I invented glow-in-the-dark clothing and safety products, and GLoLady TV was enlightening the masses. So it's not just a glow-in-the-dark, it's to illuminate the information that has been hidden or unknown. So, yeah, water. And it's interesting because the drip, the constant, excuse me, the constant drip of water has such a transformative power. That's always really cool too, to see what a drip of water can do when it's going onto a rock and it's just a drip, and you watch a bowl that is created out of a rock that is most definitely harder than a drop of water that just drops, but it's constant. It's like never giving up. It's always continuing. I like to listen to Feed Your Mind videos. I have names because water always changes but stays the same. Yeah. Water, I have many names. Yeah, I can relate. I can relate. I'm just thinking of my last court docket where I have LGB Landis, known as, in the last one. Okay, Rhodey. Rhodey and Sophie are jealous and jealouser. Rhodey, the black one, is older than Sophie. That's Sophie. Oh, you okay, Rhodey? Yeah, they like to get Thomas all wound up. That's how Rhodey talks to Thomas. And that's Carmela. Carmela likes putting Sophie in her place. Yeah, we've got us a pretty happy family here, you could say. Now they're trying to rile each other up. Trying to get attention. So anyhow, Drip, tell me. You haven't been on much lately. No, I haven't. I haven't. I wanted to do 5 nights Halloween trick or treat, and my electrical equipment did not want to agree to, I guess I didn't have a contract with it. And yeah, my computer, I don't know. I was taking some information off and backing it up, and taking it off my phone, because that's the night before, I think, the phone wouldn't let me go live anymore. It was one thing after another. And that's just, the challenges, regular challenges of life, and doing the predictions and the prophecy and the other things that I'm working on, and the many challenges of whatever, whomever is trying to stop me from serving for the betterment of humanity. And I've learned that I have to just like take a break. I can't drive myself crazy. It's like, all right, well, computer doesn't want to work. Don't know why it's not finding the internet where I'm at, not giving me an option. It's not the hidden, it's just not appearing. I mean, the internet, I can get the Wi-Fi on my phone, no problem. Oh, that's an Amber Alert. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but it came through my headphones. So, I have those Amber, I have those Silver, I have those alerts just to be wary, because you just never know. You just never know. So anyhow, I've been pushing myself to get back on, and it's like the energy to do it, not having a place to do, the whatever. That was the great thing, that when we had the public access station, it didn't, matter who you were. It was, you had a place that you could, go in and create media content that you could get out to the world if you wanted to. That's Carmela. Carmela is now the queen bee since Bella passed on and went to the Rainbow Bridge. She was definitely one of a kind, even though her 3 daughters are greatly loved. All 3 of them don't match their mother in any one particular, but they all 3 try. They've gotten much better since she passed on. Much better the whole way around. And Thomas, he has also, I will admit it. He still thinks he's one of the dogs. I heard it, but only slightly. The child Amber Alert. That's a whole nother sad situation with what's going on in the world, and I just have to say I wish him well. It's trying to look at the good that always comes out of the bad, and you wonder where. And with the child abductions, it's it's probably a parent who really wants to be in the child's life, and for whatever reason, It's like, is it a good reason to take a parent out of a child, child's life? Ah, floating around the freedom movements. Yeah, yeah. I was definitely driving with the People's Convoy and then followed the split with the 1776 because I was not ready to say that my dog's life was worth the sacrifice of a fizzle at the end. I had participated in a 900-mile Veterans March, and that was from Melbourne to DC in '97, and that was definitely a life-changing experience. And it ended with welcoming Rolling Thunder into DC. And I was there and I care, or rather, I wasn't in Vietnam, but I was a child who lived a really good life and was hidden away from what was really going on in the world out there in pertaining to the wars. The wars and the rumors of wars. And what are they saying? There's, what is it, 17 years since the Civil War that we haven't had a war? I don't know. It's something horribly like, wow. You know, why do we have wars? I still haven't figured out other than for greed, you know. Some of you might listen to Dan, I think it's Shikov, something like that. Shikov family in Russia. I've been following them for a couple of years before she was pregnant, and he was going around and showing the Russian supermarket and the organic foods in comparison to genetically modified. And yeah, there's a whole lot that's going around in the world, and I was not ready to give up with a fizzle because I wrote a lawsuit and took it up to the Supreme Court for a First Amendment platform. And 1 month after it was dismissed out of the Supreme Court, they announced the investigation of former Buncombe County Manager Wanda Green. Hop up. Come on, Soph, hop up. And anyhow, long story short, Wanda Green was sentenced to 7 years of federal time for security fraud and embezzlement. And my allegations were never really looked into by the FBI or the state attorney general, who is now Governor Roy Cooper in the state of North Carolina. So I'm looking to write another lawsuit, but I know that I can't do it per se. I'm not an attorney. That's what happened with the first one. The judge even admitted that I was harmed in the process, but he could not tell me how it needed to be written. Heck, I didn't even know about discovery. The clerk of courts had asked me if I read it, and, you know, I didn't want to be like that true dumb blonde and say, yeah, I read up to number 12. So I just said, yeah, which I should have been that more truthful, admitted, yeah, I read up to 12. Why am I supposed to read the whole thing? Oh, gosh. Yeah. So that's still on the back burner because that's a whole lot of energy. That's more energy than doing my my cloak. Yeah, my cloak. I'm looking forward to wearing it for winter. As you can see, the girls have their winter jackets on, except for Carmela. She climbed out of hers. It all depends. Some she will keep on, and some she'll climb out of. I mean, she does have extra hair, more so than the other ones, so she likes that a whole lot better. So Drip, what's going on over on the islands? How's it going over there? Do you have the vaccine? Oops, I can't mention that word. Oh, I don't want to get put in YouTube jail. Last time it was for 2 weeks. So I have to be very careful in what I say, being that it streams from Prism to YouTube, and it's supposed to go on Twitter and, let me see, Twitter and Facebook and who knows how many others, but I'm lucky if it goes on YouTube and stays on YouTube. But what's going on over there? Are you mandated? Anything? Are the grocery shelves? Yeah, I know. It's horrible, and that's why I feel called to, to do a First Amendment platform, we the people versus the United States government, because we did have, we the people had, with the Communication Act of 1934, we had the PEG, Communication Act, Public Education Government, that a portion of the money from the cable companies had to be used for a channel for the people, if the people wanted a cable station. And unfortunately, it was up to the government, because a lot of the governments weren't real happy about the people having a voice. So, some of them allowed, and some of them took down for whatever reason, because it was put in there that the government could decide. And, yeah, if the government can take away your voice, they will, especially when it's revealing corruption. Because there are quite a lot of people that I would love to have had as guests on my TV show if it had been going, if my business was not destroyed. Oh, yeah, that really sucked. There are limitations to be able to do or not access various necessities. Oh, wow, that's over in the Big Islands. I guess that's what they say about those islands in the Pacific. They are the bigger islands rather than the smaller ones, such as Puerto Rico. But yeah, we've got to, those of us who know, I'm sure have been preparing, because we know what's going to be going down. Those who don't know and have not been preparing, well, life is going to get a little bit challenging in the future. We only look free on the surface, but we really aren't free at all. Oh, that's for sure. That's, amen. Amen. And it's still to be aware that as long as there's a breath, we are free in our own minds to be. And as long as it takes one person to stand up, and one person does, then more are willing, because it's that domino effect. It's that one person that that stands up. I mean, who is that? Is that Iran, where they were taking off their what is it, a hijab, or women are going with nothing on their heads. Oh my goodness. Heaven forbid. Yeah, that's one of those old-time religion commandments. Go back to live on the sea if and when I have to. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's when you have a big enough vessel, or you know of those good coves that you can take a good seafaring vessel in when the storms come, because we know that there's quite a few storms that are going to be rocking, rolling our good Mother Earth. And I've often thought of, on a ship, and I took a cruise, and I don't even remember, but it was, let me see, Bahamas, Haiti, Jamaica, and I don't know if it was Cozumel. I think it was Cozumel, but that was before you needed to have a passport to go to wherever. Well, and that was just a picture passport. It wasn't even the so-called passports that are needed to go anywhere today. That's a cool thing, Trip. I ditto the old ways, and I'm very grateful of being raised in the way that I was. I've pretty much stayed in that, whereas others have gone on to the more modern, upscale, living in the fast lane of Miami and Daytona. That's in Florida, and major cities. So I'll just, group all major cities into one cesspool of sin. How's that? Yeah. That's what they used to call Asheville, the cesspool of sin. Yeah, I was looking at some heirloom pumpkins that the one store had, and I was debating on buying. And yeah, now that I think about it, I could look at, or could have looked at the, I could have looked on the internet on my phone to see which one did make the best tasting pumpkin pies. So, yeah. I save a lot of seeds. I try to save as many heirlooms as possible. I have an organic. I'm eating something organic. There's a good chance that I'm saving those organic seeds. As long as I have access to the ocean, I can get everything I need to live very well. Yes, I very much agree with that. But, yeah, well, when we're talking about the earth transforming and renewing, that would be the issue and why I don't do a whole lot of seafood anymore. But there again, I guess it really doesn't matter what food that you do anymore because we're being poisoned in every, I mean, whether it's coming from the air we breathe, to the water we drink, to the food we eat. I don't think there is one form or fashion type of that those who are in charge are harming. The earth and its inhabitants. I do wonder about that, if they think that, and there again, I don't know. Do they live in that so-called glass house of a bubble that they have their own pure oxygen filtered into, that they don't have a concern that by polluting the rest of the world that they too would succumb to the poisons that they put out there? I don't know. I don't know. It would be cool. I always wondered about the ocean vessels. And well, I know how easy it is to tip over a canoe. How's that? Because as a kid, I know how easy it is to tip over a canoe. A flat bottom boat, it's not as easy, but it's still easy to tip over a flat bottom boat. And therefore, I wonder, and okay, so if I'm looking at the Pacific Islanders, then they had the long, but they also had, what do they call that? Would that be a stabilizer bar that would run parallel to the look like canoe that you would sit in? And you really couldn't take those out into a storm, could ya? Or would ya? And what kind of vessel? And there again, submarines. Oh, talk about claustrophobia. But then I guess if you had enough of money, you could build an extravagant submarine that you would never know. But then building an underwater, a whole underwater, there are some that are out there that I've seen, whole underwater homes, or whether it's for dining, or they're interesting also. But then it's like once the world starts to rockin' and rollin', and we're looking at the making preparations for, and even if we have made lots of preparations and we have all of those hand canned jars, home jars, home jar. Anyhow, we have those jars Yeah, you can take them in. There are most decent ways to use light to filter most toxins. Ah, that is true. That is true. And would you also be using crystal or other type of stones in which to filter? Charcoal, I know that, I mean, is it what the sandstone, charcoal, filter, leaves, all that? Or is it with crystals and putting maybe filter the water and then put crystals in? And that's interesting. I mean, I was always fascinated by those. And I don't know if it was um, in those old books that we had as a kid. And it wasn't, I mean, they were supplementary to the encyclopedia. And it had different places. And it seemed like New Zealand and the Pacific Islanders had similar type of vessels, crystals and minerals combined. Let me see. So, is it sodalite? Sodalite. Would that be one of the crystals that would be used to purify water? I mean, I've heard of the crystal. I have put crystals in the past, and then I've had some people say about the impurities in crystal, to be careful of crystals that you put in. So in doing, I must admit, it has been quite a while since I have put crystals in my water and drank it. There again, it's probably because I've been moving around. I've been more of a traveler, nomad since my oldest son passed away. One of them, yeah. I have a collection, and that was one of the good things I can say is when I did go on the convoy that I picked up, although I did not get to pick up a stone from Arkansas. That was a whole nother disappointment in itself. But from every other state, I did pick up a stone, and I found them quite interesting. And then in Utah, that is where my precious Bella May died, I did find one of the round stones. And I'm really thinking of, I had thought of getting it cut. But then I've also seen some that have been polished. And I'm like, ooh, that's even more interesting. So I'm seeing what Bella Stone does contain. Also singing to the water filters water too. Yeah, no. Let me try to think of what the name is. You can now. Yes, I know who you are talking. Well, one of the people that you're talking about, because on the work that he had done, is that messages from water or messages to water, or um, very powerful in how putting your words on a glass container and then freezing that water could have such an astounding effect on the water crystals. So, minerals, crystal, sound filters water. I had bought one of those little round steel drums that, like the xylophone type of, but it's round and, yeah, it's out in the car. I didn't bring it in, but that's a really cool one also. It's cool to meet you, Drip. I don't think that you had ever commented in any of the videos that I had produced so far. Or maybe you went as a different name. Yeah, I have a keyboard. I really like producing um, media. And I had gotten a keyboard. And it was prior to yeah, I didn't think um that I didn't remember your name, and that, you know, I mean, there are some who commented, and I have to admit, there were times when it flew by and I didn't know who was who or what was what, or or anything to that fact. So thanks for hanging out with me on this Halloween trick or treat prediction, premonition, all that kind of good thing. Um, Halloween weekend. Um, it's something that I've been wanting to do, and um, I just observed, yeah, that was kind of like me in the observation of the convoy. I was very um, disappointed in the exposure of what I saw as could have been what I experienced with the last patrol. And the last patrol's problem that we had was that was the beginning of the internet revolution, or that was the beginning of internet and cell phones. I mean, there was only two people who had cell phones on that march, and we averaged 25 people. And then you look at Santa's crew, and what it averaged at the end of it, and yeah, okay, you have some diehards who are really truly here for good intent and purposes, but yeah, that definitely was not how I how I wanted to waste my time anymore on spinning wheels. You were around at the beginning of the internet. Well, Drip, I wonder if we're about the same era. My birthday is 3/3/1958. So I am a child of the 60s, ran through the green pastures of a good life, played in the clear water of the creeks out behind the rolling hills that I could run for miles, and my parents did not worry where I was, who I was with, or who could possibly pick me up, even on the front steps of Main Street when I was a child. So, you were born in 73. I graduated in 76. So, when you're saying at the beginning of the internet, I had computer class in 10th grade, which would probably have been around 73. And they were humongous, room filling to punch holes in a card to put into. I wasn't a real fan of computers when they had first begun. It was like, wow, this is a lot of work for what? It's gonna do what? Yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, 70s, you still had a pretty good dose of growing up in a good era. 80s, it still wasn't so bad. You worked on those. Yeah, well, better you than me. I mean, I like the ease of a laptop, but I'll tell you what, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've done a lot of work on computers, and I'm trying to think of what number laptop this is, and I don't know how many times my desktop was refurbished and copied and put back together, and new hard drive, and yeah, but they're much easier. They do make things much easier in life. They weren't fun to start up. Yeah, that's true. I think that's when you actually had to have those little cards in there to tell it when to even freaking turn it on. I graduated in 76, so we're going back a few years. I mean, there again, I did go back after 40 years and get an associate in art. And then along comes a shutdown that totally disproves what I just got done learning in biology about viruses. You know? It's like, man, what a waste. What a waste of 20,000 in college student loans to learn that what I was taught, really wasn't the truth of a pandemic. I don't know. I don't think, well, yeah, I'm not going to get into that because I think that's how I got trouble before. When I just left my mouth go onto what I think and my opinion. I think that's what got me banned before, so I have to be more aware. Remember what my dad says, Lisa, you have to know when to keep your mouth shut. And, yeah, I really did have to learn. And then I learned that if I keep my mouth shut and listen, that I can listen and learn a whole lot more. I taught how to work on those by a tutor of mine. Oh, wait, cool. Wait, cool. So, like, so is that like a backup system for the future possibility? Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's the hardest thing, and that's what really, really sucks. Because when we had the public access, we could say whatever we wanted. The only thing that we could not do is to tell you who to vote for or where to spend your money at, you know? I mean, we couldn't sell anything, or we couldn't tell you. We could bring a politician on and let them speak to whatever. But, I mean, we had people on that were talking about the corruption, and the corruption was running rampant in Buncombe County, North Carolina. And that was what the problem was, because the corruption was running rampant. And that's why the county commissioners in a conspiracy with the county manager and the city of Asheville all got together and took away our funds, because that was the only way they could shut us up. And then to even admit that no, they didn't give us all of our funds. It could have made other plans. But how are the dogs and Thomas the cat? Well, you're seeing Carmela and you are seeing Thomas. How are you doing, John? It's been a while. And then I have Sophie and Rhodey. Hey, girls. John wants to say hi. Girls. Puppies. Come on, come say hi. Come say hi to John. Come on. Come on, Sophie. Come on. Come on. Jump. Come say hi to John. Oh. Say hi, John. As punch cards. Yeah, really. Doing well out here. Where you at, John? I know you're not where Drip is. Well, there again, I don't know that for sure. But hold on and I'll get Rhodey. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. There's Rhodey. Rhodey, say hi to John. No. I'm still looking to get my own dog. I thought that you got one. You know, I don't know whatever happened with the convoy puppies. It's such a sad such a sad story that I don't even know who has the two, or, you know, if all four babies did make it. You know, it's sad. Wisconsin, just wonder what the TSA is going to do in my TWIC credential. Okay, I don't know what that is, John. Don't know what that. Okay, TSA is going TWIC. But that sounds like it's a good thing. Am I hearing that correctly? That's a good thing? TSA. Is that the Travel Safety Administration? Those of you will probably laugh. Yeah, right, Lisa. Stay safe. I've got to head off down a drain. Hey, Drip, it was really nice meeting you. And I heard that. And the girls are saying, yeah, I might want to go and go out and get something or go pee or whatever. Because, well, I just had them out an hour ago, so that's probably not it. They're probably just, oh, you woke me up to say hi to John, and what? Now you're gonna leave? Okay. I drove down to Haywood to see at least one, but didn't have an appointment. I might try again. Yeah, I will see you soon, Drip, I hope. Sir Drip a lot. TSA thing isn't a good thing. Storm resolved, but looking good. Thanks for the conversation. Amen to that one, Drip. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, and then I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna go out and see what's for supper, and yeah, that way you won't have to look at the dogs looking at each other's butts and doing what they do to but yeah, everybody's still happy and healthy here. So, John, I'm going to go and grab something to eat, and whoever else is on here, let me see, what time do we have? 7:15. So let's do like 7:15, 7:45. I'll be back up by it, and we'll see where we get to go, because we have a whole Halloween night, and you never know, right, Carmela? So tell everybody, say, see ya, love you, bye.